So the next one I'm going to show you is that like gel more solid mix. So today we're going to use the Bluey Buffet. Either one of these is pretty good for like any of your omnivore, carnivore diet. The Bluey Buffets are more for your omnivores, but Grub Pie is, you know, good for your carnivore, omnivore. But since we're going to be feeding Red today, we'll be giving him some of this Bluey Buffet. Now, what I like to do, because I prepare it for the week, he'll get one of these a week, and so what I do is I split it in half. So I've like, you know, make sure I have a nice even amount in each bag. I usually weigh it, but we'll try to eyeball it this time around. And again, just like the liquid, like pasty stuff, you don't have to be exact, but so I'll just go ahead and, so that's about half right there. Pour in the other half here. I'd say that looks generally even, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, good. All right, last but not least, the secret to getting the gel form. Take your cup here, and just like the other stuff, it's the 2 to 1. So if you have a tablespoon, if you use a tablespoon of this, you want 2 tablespoons of water. In this instance, I actually used the whole bottle, but I split it in half. So one of these is half a bottle, so I'm gonna use 1 whole bottle of hot boiling water. So let's go fill that bad boy up. So this is it right here, your powder, and then here I've boiled some water for about 2 minutes. You wanna make sure it's nice and, you know, really hot. So now what you do is very, very carefully, you wanna pour it in here because it is very hot, you gotta remember that. So it's gonna do that. So now what I do is I take it and I pour it, and then I just make sure I get all those spots in there. And I just shake it, make sure there's no hard clumps or anything. Now it will, again, since it's, you know, hot water, it will start to blow up the bag. So just like a popcorn bag, be very careful when you open it up after microwaving. So just to kind of let out some of that steam, and we'll close it back up again. And once you make sure there's no hard spots, what I like to do now is to let out as much of the air as possible so that it's mostly just the Repashy mix. So we'll do that. And now the trick is take this and you just flatten it out, get it as even as possible. Sure, again, just kind of feel for any like hard clumps or anything. And now you just let it sit for, I mean, until it pretty much cools down to room temp. You can put it in like the freezer or the fridge, but not for very long, or the freezer, not for very long, just enough to cool it down a little bit quickly. But what we'll do is I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the fridge so it cools down a little bit, and I'll show you whenever it's completely cool. It does solidify very quickly, so make sure you work quickly when it comes to these bags like this. So, and other ways that you can use like this gel form, you can make it like in the cup itself, and then you can also put them in, you can, once you have it all mixed up, very quickly you can put it into molds like this, and you can make like little cubes and stuff like that. But for me, this is a little bit easier just because I can cut it up myself, so. All right, guys, it's the finished product. You can see, well, I don't know if you can tell, but it's quite stiff. You can see it's got like lines in it from the fridge, but let's go check it out real quick. So I don't really need it right now, but here in a little bit I will. I will show you that it is now one solid form. Just let it slide on out, just like that. I take my knife and all I do is just cut it into portions. You can basically feed that to anything, so you can cut it to any, whoops. You can cut it to any size that you want. So if you got like a big old adult blue tongue, you can give this to them. Or if you say have a really tiny baby bearded dragon, just give them a smaller portion, just like that. So, and that's how you make a solid form of the Repashy and or Pangea.